Welcome to In Moderation,
the show where we give you a moderate dose of info, sarcasm, and we already know we're not approved.
Wow. Wow.
Look at that. That's interesting.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Okay, yeah. Wait, let me go closer in on the actual play button. Okay, so it's it's out. It's an outie.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. We've got innies.
Yeah, we have innies.
Welcome to In Moderation, where me and Mike are hating on these other three because they've all got fancy play buttons on their walls.
Doesn't matter what the size of your button is. It depends on what you do with it.
I thought you were going to say it depends if it's an indie or an outie. Because John's got an outie. Adam and I have innies. But, it's all beautiful in their own way.
It's exactly.
Welcome to In
It's
Moderation,
beautiful when you have one.
the show where we give you a moderate dose of info, sarcasm, and we already know we're not YouTube approved. You already know me as the
And today
host
we
of In
bring
Moderation.
you Mike, who comes on In Moderation, as you know.
I don't think this is In Moderation anymore. I think I'm binging my appearances of In Moderation now. This is I'm standing in front of the.
We'll fire you for the next couple of months.
I'm standing in front of the refrigerator at 3 a.m. in my underwear with a bag of shredded cheese, eating it in a half stupor right now.
Sounds like a good time to me.
It's like Adam Lambert and Queen, except Mike needs a plan as Adam Lambert.
And the voice you just heard was Adam Wright, whose first appearance was about a year ago, actually.
Wow. Time flies.
Was I on before you?
No. You kidding?
I was on in April
I was a hot commodity.
last year.
I don't
No,
remember.
he was definitely before. I think Adam was pretty early on, I feel like.
I was like, it was pretty early.
All I know
Mike
is I
came
was
onto
going
the
through
scene.
the clips of us doing Baldur's Gate 3 together, which that happened just after you came on the podcast. Because I don't know if you saw in the Discord, I was reminiscing about how we became more than mutuals by you coming on the podcast, and then we were talking about how you were, calling people out, I use in quotes, about not talking about Gaza. And I was like, well, then you want to come to a charity stream with us?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was
That's how
back
it
when we
started.
talked about shit that mattered, like trauma and healing it, and now it's just fucking bullshit. We just sit
Now it's
around and
penis
talk about
jokes.
nothing.
You can't
Now it's
talk
just
about the real
basically-
stuff anymore because every time you do, it gets suppressed. At least for me, anyway. I have to call people out and then shoehorn a message into it because it's the only thing that works anymore. Old man yells at
I do
cloud.
that too. It's just...
Isn't that just kind of
I-
how people work, though? I'm telling, for me, when I scroll through the algorithm, the only time a good message gets through is when they're calling out a bad message and then giving a good message. If you just sit there and be like, "Hey, let me help," gone. Fuck it. It doesn't even matter what you say after that.
I built my
You
platform on
need
that.
to just-
How dare you help me?
That's what I did.
That's not in right now.
It's not
I'm
in
sorry,
anymore.
Mike, but it's not. It's right now. It's fucking dead. You need to have
You're
someone else
absolutely-
saying blah blah blah, and you go yeah, and blah 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 blah. That's the only
you're
way
so
that
true.
it fucking works.
Yeah.
You're so right. I made a video I think 2 weeks ago about my kind of a controversial video about me in my service uniform when I was in the army.
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
how I did that. And I got 250,000 views. I'm like, oh my god, finally a video of mine popped off. And then 2 days ago, I made a video about how people can be, how your experience with hunger might be traumatic because past experiences. Less than 1,000 views.
Right.
I'm like,
It's
what's
right
going
now.
on,
Politics
man?
super hot right now. So you just start with politics and then just lead into that. You don't even need to say anything. Just hey,
Just
politics.
show a picture of Trump. I show a picture of Trump, and then
I would just yell politics at people, politics also, and I promise you that'll
That
do
probably
better.
would work, actually.
It would do
though.
it
Try
that would
that.
do better.
Right after the election,
the,
I posted a video where I just stared at the camera for 1 minute, completely silent. I didn't put a caption, not a word, nothing. And that got plenty of interaction.
Just make a video where you say Luigi.
Yeah.
That worked for you on it worked for you on Threads, didn't
Luigi.
it?
That's what I'm saying.
For those that don't know, I spent about a month and a half just I figured I think this thing's going off keywords. It's not using context or anything, and my regular threads weren't going off. So I just decided to thread Luigi Mangione, nothing else, not another word. 10,000 likes. So I did it again.
Yeah.
He cracked the code.
I ended up doing it 400 times.
Oh my god!
in a row, unbroken. I can send you the video of it.
What did you get? What did you get for doing that?
Like 25,000 followers on Threads. Also, the Threads bonus
Are they
was
all big
happening at the
Nintendo
time,
fans,
so they were
or-
paying me for it.
Right.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, that's
that
what I'm
fit
saying.
voice you hear, the quiet kid in the corner. You've seen him on a couple times recently. Obese to Beast.
Oh yes. Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
please say
everyone.
hi.
Did we not
Please
fully
say hi back.
introduce
Don't be
everyone?
shy.
Yeah, sorry, John. We got off on a tangent and forgot you were here.
It's fine. I'm just here to be moral support. Really.
And drink Kool-Aid.
It's actually
does that have
Crystal
Red
Light.
40 in it? That's all that really matters.
Actually, it's a new one. It's Red 41. You wouldn't know about it.
Bruh, you got the
Yeah, you
I want it,
advanced release of Red 41.
That's the beta.
It
Early
has,
access Red
even
40?
more. It has even more red and even more.
Yes.
all your favorite red and 1% more.
Big Pharma's trying to do
exactly.
sponsorships right now.
Can we
I'm ready,
like,
dude. Hit me up.
The only way I would be okay with like going into like a supplement company is if you lean into the chemicals things. Like somebody said like they wanted, I was like, I want to name it all the chemicals. And somebody was like, what about oops, all chemicals? And I'm like, I want that. I've never wanted anything as bad as I want that to be my supplement brand. Where it's just
Start your own
oops, all
energy drink.
chemicals. And it's
In
just
Moderation
like,
presents Oops, All Chemicals.
and it's just like, yeah, Red 40 and aspartame and all that shit. It's just like, it's front and center on the packaging. We don't go, oh, it's free from them. We're like, no, these are like our fucking ingredients in big, bold letters. And then I'd be okay with like energy drinks and all that shit.
We had a whole list of
Absolutely.
preservatives, even though there's nothing that can spoil in it.
Just throw them in there anyway. Fuck it. There you go. Trisodium phosphate. That's just, we don't need that, but that bitch is in there.
But that genuinely is. Sorry to actually bring up something that's interesting. That's something
For his podcast.
Stupid.
but this is something that's interesting because like I think that's super funny and I would be super down for that. But the fact is that most people that would even really be interested in supplements also are like in their this is just a thought that came to my head, but they're in their head they are, oh, I don't want any chemicals, and when they say there's no chemicals, that's always better. But they'll also be okay with those chemicals if there's protein in it. You know, if it's a protein bar, then it's like, oh, with the chemicals, it's has to be there. You know,
I think
like
there's a large enough gym community. Like I got tagged in a video where there's like a guy that's like, I drink energy drinks because they're unhealthy. That's why. Like I drink them because they have chemicals, not in spite of them. Like that's why I pick them out. And I think there's enough people
Cheers
like
to that.
And like our followers are like those people. Right? There's a lot of those people at least, right? So I feel like we have a large enough group of people that are like, yes, give me that shit. That we could just throw,
I think
everything out there.
it'd be so funny because there would be those influencers who would try and quote in quotations influencers who would try and call it out like this is so unhealthy for you, and that would actually be even better because they're like, yeah,
absolutely,
it's
yes, we're getting free fucking publicity
It's free
for the people who are
publicity.
like, yes, chemicals,
It would
give
just
them
be-
in my mouth now. I
Yes,
put those
just the
chemicals
irony
into
that-
my body, which is chemicals. It's all chemicals, and just fucking lean into it. Stop shying away from this, like, oh, it's aspartame free and blah 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 blah. Like, no, it's got that shit. That's why you want it.
You know what I think of often when I hear the health, and I guess we are health influencers, and health is obviously incredibly important and something we want to prioritize. But I remember an old interview from Ricky Gervais, who he was doing an interview, and they were talking. I can't remember who was interviewing him, but he was asking like, Ricky was just basically talking about like, why do I want to live like this perfectly healthy life? Why do I want to extend my life into like my 90s? Or like, oh, if I eat healthy and I do all this stuff, I'll live an extra 10 years. Those are the worst years of your life. Why do I want to live when I'm 80 or 90 years old?
Why am I extending the worst part of my life?
Right. You're like, it's not like you're extending your 30s. You're extending, you're like 90 years old living to 100. I'm incontinent. I'm not independent. I can't, why do I want to live that long?
That's
I'm
fucking solid
I'm
point.
like, it is. And, it just really kind of makes me think because I'm like, it is important to live your life, but you also have to, or it's like live healthy, but you also have to live your life. You know what I mean? And if you never enjoy things all for the sake of living longer, you haven't really lived at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But
No,
there's also the aspect of like living healthier into those years, because a lot of the times the reason they're unable to do things at those age at the 70s, 80s, 90s is because they didn't eat well enough, didn't exercise, blah blah, right? So like you want to do that so you're healthier, but there's a tipping point. There's a tipping point where you reach 88 and it doesn't fucking matter anymore, and you're like, damn, I can't do shit.
Yeah,
just like sit here. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, like, something that I've talked a lot about on different pages or whatever that I've had, like, is that obviously I talk a lot about weight loss because that's where I come from and stuff. And I always tell people that, like, losing weight should be, in my opinion, about improving the quality of your life. Yeah. Right. And like, there are many things that you might have to start taking away to make that happen. But the goal should be, in moderation, right? Like, it should be about like having certain things, like you're able to put certain things back in, right? And then it's like we were all kind of talking about. It's like when you start to live your life, everything is about optimizing every single little thing out of. It's like, okay, are you living anymore? Or are you just existing? Because that feels like just existing, and it reminds me of how I felt when I was at my heaviest. And skipping out on so many things in my life that I wanted to do because I couldn't do those things because of the size that I was. Therefore, I was existing, right? It's just interesting how it's like, it's a circle, man. It's all kind of comes back around.
I remember when I was at my leanest, I was doing this bodybuilding program and I was really trying to like shred, like get like this ideal physique that most gym influencers are trying to get after. And it was the fittest I've ever been in my life. But I was taking my meal preps to Disneyland, to the county fair. Like I was missing out on so many like opportunities to enjoy my life, all for the sake of that physique. And listen, if that's a once in a while thing, like that's fine. But I wasn't doing it for any purpose other than to look good. And and that's not a life that I now want to live. I don't look back and go, wow, I'm really happy that I meal prepped at Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like it's just not worth it to me.
Hear me out. There's this space. There's this space between Brian Johnson, which is the guy that's trying to live to like 500 and injecting his son's blood into him to do like to eke out everything possible. You didn't know? Yeah, no, he's got his son's blood in him, and like he's doing all sorts of. Just look. It's very interesting, but yeah. It's like a science experiment. How long can you live if you do literally everything? His morning routine is 6 hours long to just do like everything from the UV therapy, all that sort of stuff. I don't know, not UV. What's it? Red light therapy. And wow. And then there's a space between that and then the rock star who takes every drug, puts it in one needle and goes, fuck it, let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And you have to find that kind of space in between where you have to live a little. But if you're just living to live, that's fucking what are you going to look back on? Like all the time you spent trying to live longer?
All that lovely time under that red light
therapy, man.
Thinking your thoughts.
Yeah, I
red light is made out of red.
That's just performative for content, but I mean, there are people out there.
Speaking of performative for content, John, first off, John, do you have? Are you a coach as well?
Wait, why did you put me right after that?
Yeah. Those two things are not
Speaking of performative, John, let's talk about you.
That's important to the question.
Is this some sort of no?
It's a gotcha.
Yeah. I really think Obese to Beast is really performative for content. It's so to the coaches here. Have you ever gotten a client come to you and been like, and shown you a picture of like a bodybuilder at peak week and said like, this is what I want to aim for. This is kind of what I want to go for. And you have to explain to them, no, this is literally performative for content. Mm-hmm. Like this person looks like this because they're taking a bunch of pictures around the time they're at their most lean. They're posting it throughout the year. This is not what they look like. And even right after this picture, they're not flexing anymore. They're not in good lighting. They're not tanned up, but all that. It's like these bodies are literally performative for content, like obesity.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. No, it's one of those things that I will say, like for me, I haven't had any of my clients that I've worked with that have kind of had those expectations, but it's a bigger conversation when it comes to like social media and this stuff. Like I posted, it's actually funny that you bring that up because I posted a reel because I probably should post on TikTok more, but I always forget. But posted a reel talking about like a body that looks like this can also look like this. And it was within the same day. It was me like showing my loose skin. and then me at the gym with the pump. And it's like just trying to show people, even the people that you look to as inspirations, if you're someone that has lost weight, that has loose skin, that is, you know, not super happy about it, even those people, and I put myself in that same category, there can be some performative stuff that happens. It's just, if that just is what it is, right? And it's like, even if you are trying to follow people that you feel are, you know, not extreme and not over the top, there is a level of, I mean, honestly, there is a level of performing. I think anyone is kind of performing to an extent, right? Like I wouldn't be sitting here talking to nobody if it wasn't for a podcast, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, there's like a level of it, a little bit with everyone. I feel like
there's
you know?
content. It's content creation. I mean, it's not authentic by design. Like it can't be. You know, there's like I remember, you know, when I used to make, this is a long time ago. Actually, the thing that reminded me of it, somebody commented on a video probably I made like 4 or 5 years ago, but it was me doing like some positive gym motivation slogans, you know, like just some positive things. And it was clips over me doing an exercise. And I remember doing 1 rep of those exercise each to get the clip. It's like, it's just for content, you know, and so many people, it's so easy to look so strong, like you're working so hard and you do 2 reps of that exercise for the montage, you know? So it's
I can literally change my muscle definition just by turning off the ring light and turning on the overhead light.
Yeah.
That will make if I flex, my bicep will pop so much more with the overhead light.
Yeah. I think it's
that's
really
exactly why I have the lighting the way that I do.
Wait, let me turn my lighting on.
I'm conscious of my posture because the light hits my traps differently if I hunch.
So you have to have good posture.
Look at that. Look, there's a little bit of a gap there. Maybe I am building muscle definition. Who knows?
Yeah, it just comes with the territory. And I think it's so important. I really like creators who are authentic about themselves. And I think you can tell so much more about a person by their principles and their values and what they preach rather than what they look like. And I feel sorry for people who are looking to start a journey like this, because oftentimes that's what they are doing, is they're looking for the most jacked dude or chick because that's what they want to look like.
Right.
And because that's body goals, that's who they sign up with. And I'm like, guys, this person is green as baby shit. They don't know what they're doing. You know, like they're their brand new coach. Like you go into a gym, the biggest coaches or the, you know, like the most strong, like biggest, you know, physique wise coaches oftentimes have the most clients, even though they might not have experience. So it's a real shame.
Scrolling through Instagram is basically like scrolling through or going through like a haircut thing. It's like, which one do I want?
Right. Yeah. That's their resume, you know, and I talked about this. Can I plug my own podcast? Is that
go for it.
No,
he's gonna bleep it out.
We're just gonna cut this whole
on my unnamed podcast. On my brand new podcast, it's called Showing Up Anyway. But I talked about, you know, how there's a saying in this industry that your body is your business card, and I absolutely hate that saying because some of the most experienced coaches and incredibly empathetic and understanding and the coaches that get the most results with their clients are not the most jacked ones. They're the ones who understand human psychology, and they're the ones who understand that you have to be flexible and that life happens. And they're not out there putting their body on social media all the time because that's not the most important thing. Definitely not in a coach.
The number one researcher in the field, most people think it's Brad Schoenfeld because he's very present on social media. Is Stuart Phillips. And if you go look at his picture of Stuart Phillips, he just looks like a regular guy. He's got a little bit of a punch, but he is so knowledgeable about anything exercise science.
So what I've been finding interesting is like lately on Instagram, I've seen both, like on the male side, it's kind of showing what you were talking about with the lighting, like, oh, look at lighting over top, and then this is me, and don't judge yourself, blah blah blah. And then I'll see on the women's side, it's more like people say I'm a natural beauty, but my hair's fake, my eyelashes are fake, my nails are fake, this is fake, lip filler, blah 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 blah. And I find it interesting in like the comments, you'll get people saying on one side, people are like happy, like thank you for being you know, honest and everything. And other ones are like, why don't you just then not do any of that? And I find that kind of an interesting topic because it's like, well, I want to look a certain way, right? Like I do these things, I add these things because I want to look this specific way. Why do I want to look that way? Is that because of societal pressures? Maybe. But like it does make me happier to do this. And to look this way, but it does take a lot of work. And then I don't know, like there, I kind of feel like there's also a balance, like how much work do you want to put in for how well you want to look, and how much happiness is that going to bring versus how much work you have to put in to get to that thing.
Yeah, it kind of like it reminds me of like when people make that argument, it's like, whoa, well, I understand that you don't love society, but I've noticed that you live in a society. And so what about that? It's just like, that's not an answer, man. Like we all live in a society, and you can point out things that you don't like while still obviously having to participate in that. I'd be like, I don't love landlords, but guess what? I rent. Like, what am I going to do? Live on the street?
What's your least favorite thing about society? Everybody go.
Like, and so I think it's one of those things where it's, and I'm sure most people can kind of understand this, but it's like people that leave comments like that, they're just trying to be contrarian, right? And just be like, oh, you say you don't like this, and well, what? And it's just like, come on, like let's actually engage with the point that's trying to be made. And if you disagree, that's fine, but like bring something to the table more than just like, well, have you thought about this thing? And it's just like, you're not giving any sort of answer here, you know?
Yeah.
On the topic of bodies being business cards as well, and I think this is a factor that I don't think we touched on this unless I'm forgetting. Everybody that you look up to, anyone that looks a little bit too big to be true, they're taking something to look like that. Anybody that claims to be natural and all they do is harp on that all day, every day, they're not natural. I promise
and that
you
has to do with, and that's all genders. That's not just men. You know,
that is true.
That's absolutely. Like I had a coach who worked for me who is not natural, and she had an incredible physique, but was not natural. But you wouldn't know it, because, you know, like it just depends on the dose as well. And it's not a big deal.
No, if you want to do that,
but I think it's important. Yeah, totally.
Well, don't do it, but
really
like,
just don't lie about it.
Yeah, just don't lie about it. Like, I don't have a problem with the people that are already doing it. My problem is when they're selling fitness programs and not telling you that that's how they got fit.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't feel
Agreed.
quite honest to me.
Well, and it's not. And the biggest part about that is like, obviously for the individual, it's a problem, but I think for society, but like for the like overall problem is that it skews perception, right? Public perception is skewed. And like I was on TikTok the other day, and it was like someone was talking about how like people's perception is skewed on what is like buff and what's not, right? And like this guy, one of his coworkers was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, you know, I want to start lifting, and but I don't want to get too big, so like in a few years I'd love to look like Chris Bumstead. And the dude was like, wow, you are talking about Olympia. Literally Mr. Olympia. There's really no more jacked than that. Like,
so what?
And it's just
4
like,
years?
because people maybe see him next to like the monster, humongous freak bodybuilders, right? But like, if you saw him in real life, every single person that walked by would take a second look and be like, holy crap, right? If you went to your gym, everyone would be like, that guy is by far the most jacked dude in the gym that comes here just at all.
Like, he should be kicked out.
And it's,
he's being really greedy.
I feel, yeah. And I honestly, I can understand, because that's probably what people think about me when I go to the gym, but that's besides the point. We don't have to keep talking about that. But seriously, it is one of those things where it skews people's perception. And the same thing, I think the same thing can be said about weight loss as well, because on social media, what is rewarded and pushed is extremes, right? So if someone loses an extreme amount of weight relatively quickly, that usually garners a lot of attention. And then people start to think, oh, that's normal. And
that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes. And then I'm getting off topic a little bit, but this is something I think about a lot. With social media, it is, in my opinion, it can be so dangerous, because a lot of times people pick up on that, the people that are losing the weight, and they are just like, I am going to do the most unhinged, unhealthy, insane stuff to lose weight as fast as possible. And the goal, this is my opinion, I just want to put that out there, but I feel a lot of times the goal is not, I need to get healthier. Maybe that was the start, right? But the goal ends up not being, I need to get healthier. It almost doesn't even be, I need to lose weight. It's, I want to grow on social media, and this is the best way for me to do that. And I've noticed it to a point where it's just like, I don't know how it's one of those things that I haven't really talked about it in a post because I feel like people are like, you're just jealous, right? Because I don't mean to cuss. I've been doing this for a very long time, right? And I've noticed it relatively recently. And I feel like if I brought it up, it'd be like the old dude that's been around since the freaking prehistoric era is like upset that people are doing things differently now. And now he's mad. And I don't want to come across that way. It's just something that I have noticed over the past years. I'm sorry, I really kind of took the topic to another point, but
no, I like it. First off, if I had hit on, I wasn't trying on social media back when I was losing my weight, but if I was, and like I had a viral video, and then I had a following like I do now, guaranteed I would have used that as extra fuel against myself. I lost weight in some of the most horrendous ways. And I can only imagine that would have stoked something really ugly in me if I had lost all my weight by the time I started talking about it.
Yeah, for the most part, me too.
There was a viral video where a woman said, it wasn't until I prioritized gaining health over losing weight that things changed. And I think that was like a great way to put it. Because really if you focus on that often, weight loss does happen on its own. Does it happen as fast? No, which is the fucking problem, right? Yeah. You can go on the keto diet and lose 10 pounds in a week, and you're like, fuck yeah, look at this. I'm fucking doing great.
What I hate is, you said social media is glamorizing all this stuff, but media in general, you see it in, like movies. Movie stars are having to be more and more jacked looking on screen. Some of you guys play Marvel Rivals. One thing that I absolutely hate about Marvel Rivals is I went in and I looked at the character models and I was like, oh my God, they put everybody on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but okay, listen.
The original
to be
Wolverine?
Fair on that one, they're superheroes.
Rob's just bad at the game.
I give a little bit of leeway when they're goddamn superhero. They're literally in the name is superhero. Like they are beyond what humans are. So I'm like, listen, I get
but the superheroes thing came from like mutations, not steroids.
And that's what got him jacked as fuck. I mean, it's not. It's it's green goo that made him all jacked.
If they did add Lou Ferrigno as
everybody else is normal, but he's there.
It's not even green. It's not even cartoonized. It's literally just a green screen video.
They'll probably hear this and release them as a skin
with
for
like
one season or something. That would be awesome. But okay, here's my thing. When they take like Luke Skywalker, if you haven't seen, like Luke Skywalker originally was like, look normal. And then like the 90s, early 2000s came and it was like jacked as fuck Luke Skywalker. It looked like he was on just, the kitchen sink. And that I'm like, okay, that's stupid. Like you just took a character
that was the Force giving him strength.
There's no Force. No, it's him in the movie. You see him. He's not, maybe scrawny might not be the right word, but he's normal looking, right? And then they make him look jacked. Whereas like superhero, they've got all the stuff and the mutations to make them that way. That's my thought process on that.
I don't mind it when it's sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. I was just gonna tie it back to what we were kind of talking about a little earlier. We were talking about social media and glamorizing weight loss and stuff like that. And I just saw a video that was talking about Mr. Beast and a challenge that he did with a friend of his to lose 100 pounds. And basically, it's insane how things come full circle, because that literally is just the Biggest Loser. Yeah. It just absolutely was the Biggest Loser on a YouTube episode. And he just put him in a room, right, for 24 hours a day for what, a month or
it was until he lost 100 pounds.
It was until he lost 100 pounds. So the faster you do it, the faster you're done. So obviously you just eat nothing and you just lose. Yeah,
and he was exercising like 8 hours a day, and I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, what are we glamorizing this for? What are we promoting? Like, this is not health. It's not health, no. And it's not sustainable. It's not realistic. It's just for views. There is nothing that is going to translate into. It's not motivating anybody. Like it might for a few days, a week, and then they realize I can't exercise 8 hours a day. I don't have access to, a trainer, a chef, like all these things that I'm sure he had in the video. And it's just, it just pisses me off. I see that coming we worked so hard to put Biggest Loser behind us, and here it comes again in the form of Mr. Beast.
Can I say I hate Mr. Beast?
Sure, you can.
You can say whatever you want.
It's like
your
podcast. The guy, I know everybody loves his videos, but he has glamorized abusing people. That's what his videos are. He just abuses people
and then pays them.
We just lost.
I think it's a mixed bag. I think he
Yeah.
definitely does some good. He definitely does some good. You can argue that the bad outweighs the good, and I can definitely see that argument. But he definitely does at least, like Ari's videos, like the videos where he's like, I restore.
He does some good as long as he profits from it.
Yeah. Right, well, yeah, but like I'm not gonna listen. I don't give a fuck if someone profits from something. It's what they're doing, and it's like, hey, I gave 1,000 people their eyesight back, and like I get it. That's for views, and I get the arguments against it. But at least he's getting views doing that, as opposed to like, hey, I made this person starve themselves until they almost died. That I don't like that as much. I prefer the ones where they're like, I gave water to people in Africa, and it's like, yes,
we adopted 100 dogs.
That. Like,
okay, cool.
I get the argument against it. Like you're just exploiting people for views, and I get that, but at least he's doing some good with it. It's better than doing nothing, in my opinion. What I will say is, yes, we put Biggest Loser behind us, so instead we should focus on other TV, like reality TV shows, like Naked and Afraid. That's obviously better. But when I try and reenact that in my neighborhood, people call the police, and it's a fucking problem. That's my main issue with this.
Yeah,
you got to do it on YouTube. That's what it is, Liam.
If you,
I tried to do an
episode. Am I supposed to do the blurry part or no? Do I need the blurry part or
of course not?
No?
Just blur your face.
That's it's only you Americans that do the blurry
Nothing else.
thing.
Don't blur anything else.
The rest of the world, we don't care about blurring.
I will blur everything but the genitals. Is everything else is blurred? I do the reverse. I do a reverse Naked and Afraid.
Yeah,
but seriously,
Liam's naked and we're all afraid.
That's
I'm naked and you're afraid is the name of the show.
It's actually so amazing that like a lot of shows that have nudity and stuff, if you watch it in Canada or UK, there's no blurring. So when you guys watch it and you talk about blurring, I'm like, what blurring?
Yeah,
I've been seeing cock and balls my whole life.
Right. In America, somebody can be eviscerated and they get a PG-13. One nipple by a female, and that is rated R. You're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The greatest part about this Naked and Afraid, but with the reverse blurring, would be that people would start to find differences between sets of genitals to refer to the like when they're talking to their friends in the office about like, hey, did you see that episode?
So that one's lefty, that one's righty.
Oh shit! I can't tell what they're doing on the show. Apparently they built something. It's all blurred. I have no idea. All I saw was cock and balls.
They muted their voices too, so you just see like a cloud with balls trying to survive in nature.
No, how about like that deep voice they give when someone's anonymous? The whole episode.
I think all the female listeners have left at this point.
Oh no, they're laughing along. Listen, they've been with us this long. They're laughing at this shit's funny. It's a golden idea.
I mean, they must like it. The majority of our listeners identify as female. So,
oh shit,
women can be naked too.
Yeah,
it's our stance in moderation. Women can also be naked.
That sounded like a revelation you just had.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold on.
You got
this whole time.
Hear me out here.
I just confirmed it. Naked.
I talked to ChatGPT.
Right?
I just had the best idea.
Hold on, guys. Wait a second. Shut the episode
you're saying this
down.
has been around? 1 sec. I need to search something. Just give
I've
me
never seen it before, but I know they can be naked.
I just Googled women naked, you guys. You'll never believe it.
You're not going to believe what I saw.
Oh, man. So health, it's a real big topic.
You know what's health? Laughing. Laughter is fucking the best. That's what they say. It's the best medicine, man.
Not as good as...
Ozempic.
I don't know. I was going to make a drug joke. I won't do that.
You're too innocent.
Yeah.
Not as much as the stuff that rhymes with Tatooine. Yeah. Oh, fuck. That's good. Halloween, yeah.
I love
Halloween.
candy.
That's the best medicine. I love
Halloween
candy.
is the best medicine. Yeah.
You know what, though? But they take the fucking Reese's and they put the Reese's Pieces in the Reese's. It's not as good. You'd think it'd be better. It's like extra Reese's, but it's somehow worse. I don't like it.
I've never had that before.
I'm not a fan of that.
No, it's too much. They went too far. They stopped.
The thing is, they're messing with a golden ratio.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've had scientists like trying to hack our brains for like what's the best tasting thing. You've already got it. You're done.
Wait, which one do you guys think is the best?
What's the best candy?
Just like
Reese's.
Personally, I like the Pucks. Do you guys have the Pucks?
That's just
Wait,
the
is that
regular.
different than the
round
regular
ones?
Reese's?
No, the huge ones. The Pucks.
Oh,
No,
yes.
we don't have- we don't have
Are those not
before. I had 4 of them once.
I don't think I would.
Okay, I was worried that they didn't exist in America.
Can you only get
But
them at hockey
there's
games?
Reese's Pucks.
Oh, big enough to
And
put a
they're
hole in.
They're huge.
Yep.
But I like them because they are a higher ratio of the peanut butter to chocolate.
I like the Reese's eggs. I think those are the best.
eggs are good.
The eggs.
Did you have the Twix eggs?
I did not have Twix eggs.
I love Twix. I did not realize they could be improved. They had these Twix eggs, and it's just like it's a whole cookie with caramel and everything in there, and it was just satisfying to bite into.
The original Twix is like my favorite candy bar. That
stuff is satisfying to bite into.
Yep, me too.
My favorite candy bar is Take 5. That's
an interesting one.
Have you guys had Take 5 before?
That's not usually anyone's favorite, but it's underrated.
Take 5's pretty good.
Yeah,
good.
I love an
salty sweet combo.
Almond Joy.
I don't
like. Wait, is that the one? Wait, which one's the one that has coconut? Mounds.
Almond Joy and Mounds.
No, Almond Joy.
They both have coconut. I don't like that. That makes me mad.
Oh,
I don't like that coconut.
Of course, right as I have to put on an adult shirt and go on a business call, we're talking about my favorite thing.
Yep.
I got to get out of here. Thank you for having me again. Be kind to yourself, all.
Yeah. Go away.
Mike needs to get lost.
Mike,
get out of here. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Speaking of performative. Speaking of performative.
Well, all right, fellas. I guess I'll just walk away forever.
Finally, he's gone.
Finally. God damn.
Mr. I have
hate
clients
that guy.
over here.
You talk about Mr. Beast. You know who I really fucking...
I will say, my favorite candy bar, Mr. Big.
I've never heard of that in my
candy
life.
bars up now. No one's had that.
It's a Canadian candy bar.
No, none of you have had that because it's a Canadian candy bar.
Yeah, so it's automatically not even in the running. Maybe. Probably.
I'm going to need you to send me
I
one.
want to say I probably sent Liam one.
You probably sent me one. I don't even remember. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone were you sending me a candy bar months ago.
Was it a Mr. Big? I don't think it was Mr. Big for breakfast.
Interesting.
I don't remember what I sent you, Adam.
Vanilla wafer
That's
coated
okay
in caramel.
because I'll send you these.
Crunchy peanuts and rice
Veggie
what's
crisps,
that?
all dressed.
Oh yes, all dressed.
I like my
new favorite
veggie
kind of
crisps to
chips.
be nude, personally.
Oh.
You like the
Not dressed
regular
at all.
ones? The regular veggie chips?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't. They're not that bad. They're salty, man. That's
tastes
kind of
like air.
That's all they are.
It's
Yeah,
air
they
and
just taste like
salt.
salty air. Yeah.
That fills you
I
up for
like
about
new
3.5
veggie crisps with my
milliseconds.
Mr. Big.
Jeez. Jesus.
In moderation, of course.
Okay. Well, before we finish up, I want to go around with something that's pissed us off a lot this week. And
God.
not fucking in like politics and bombing shit. It's bringing us down too much. I don't want to be sad right now, okay? So I'm going to go first. I got tagged in a video with like a mother who was like feeding her kids. And like it had like a brownie and French fries like on the plate. It also had like strawberries and shit and whatever. But people fucking destroyed her. There's like 3,000 comments of people just like you shouldn't have reproduced and shit like that level. It's bad. And I'm just like, God damn. Like I think it's people who don't have kids. Like you know what? Like Oakley had for breakfast, Welch's fruit snacks and chocolate milk. Like, that's what she had. That's what she wanted. I was like, all right, sure, here you go. Later on, she had avocado and, like, apples and shit. Like, it's all fine. Kids grow on damn anything you gave them. Like, the way these people act, we should all be dead. We shouldn't have even gotten to adults, like, eating, like, Cheez-Its and all this shit that I definitely did as a kid, you know? Pissed me off.
What about you, Rob?
I don't know if anything pissed me off this week. I was too busy being sad.
Well,
Actually, you know what? It's the only thing that's really pissed me off this week is I've been working on my Twitch a lot lately, and the amount of big Twitch accounts that are only big because of boobs. And actually, no, I shouldn't say they're big because of boobs. I should say they're big because of horny men.
I
feel like you're talking about my account here, and I don't feel
Definitely talking about John's account.
with my chest, okay?
But like there's no community to them. I go and I research like what they're doing and stuff, and I go into the channels, and the chat's dead. It's literally like 400, 500 people in there just ogling the person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sex sells, man. That saying's been around forever, and it will never go away. Well, our stupid monkey brains just make us go towards that. Like, for me, when I see it, I'm like, oh, yeah, sex sells.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, man. I really do. But I will just, like, to try and, not to make you feel better, you're your own person, you do your own thing, but, like, understand that those people, it's not like they would be coming to your channel anyways, right? And so they're going to do their thing. And, like, the way I see it is, I understand that there's like this argument like Twitch shouldn't have this and they shouldn't have that. But I think like as long as it's separated correctly, right? Like all I can hope for is that it helps the site grow and it gets more people.
Yeah.
But I understand, especially if you do feel like you are putting in a ton of work, a ton of effort into this thing, and then you feel like someone else is garnering so much, benefit when you feel like they're not putting in that amount of effort. I know that it can be frustrating, but my advice would just be like, focus on what you are doing and appreciate the people that you do have, because it is very easy to see and compare it to other people and be like, why am I not getting what they're getting? Especially when you feel like you're putting in more work or whatever it might be. But I just, that's my advice that you didn't ask for at all, but I just understand where you're coming from.
Well, now that you've given me that advice, I would like to say, now that you've given me that advice, I would like to say I have a lot of respect for Adam. But like, if you go to watch Adam's Twitch, like there's elements of all the sex sells and stuff, but he's also got like a massive community there. The chat is just popping. People are having fun. It's great.
Thank you. Yes, I use my body to my advantage.
Exactly.
Especially your booty in those red shorts.
I'm gonna say, what's pissed me off this week is when influencers speak up to talk about something that's important to them and they get accused of like selling out
that shit pissed me off when that happened.
Oh man. So I'm specifically, I think, talking about Scotty K Fitness, who made a video talking about some of the, ICE immigration stuff. And that was really important to him. And yeah, people made videos talking about how he's a sellout now. And I've lost respect for Scotty, and he was reading from a script and someone paid him to do all this stuff. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. If you guys don't know Scotty's morals and values, and he's not the kind of person who's going to shut the fuck up about it. But even doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who it is or what it was. If they're speaking about something that's important to them, it doesn't necessarily mean just because you disagree with it. Hear
me out though. I figured it out. I figured out why they're doing it. It's a fucking coping mechanism because they saw Scotty as someone who believed in their ideology, and when that was challenged, they can't just say, "Oh, he thinks different." It has to be he was paid for it. It's a coping mechanism, 100%.
Yeah, they like him so much that they cannot stand the fact that he doesn't agree with them.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's all it is. That's the way of coping.
Yep. Yeah. I totally agree with you.
So
that's what pissed
for
me off
me,
this
it's really hard to come up with an answer because I'm just very positive and nothing ever really bothers me or makes me upset ever.
Okay, putting jokes aside, what actually pisses you off?
This is basically all I think about is how stuff pisses me off. But I will say, and this is, I'm not sure, it's one of those ones that it's hard to talk about because, and that's part of what pisses me off, because I feel like if you have any sort of dissenting opinion, people assume that you think a certain way. And so like with this has been, I guess it's been pissing me off for a while, but it's the issue, I don't even want to call it issue, but just the fact that if you are at all critical or try and have people think a little bit more about like GLP-1 medication, semaglutide, Ozempic, all of that stuff, if you have any sort of opinion that's not just everyone should be taking it's good and it's good for everyone and it's great and everyone should, like, if you are at all critical about it, people just assume that, like, I've had people like, you just hate fat people, you just want people to stay fat. And it's frustrating because it feels like any conversation that is not complete, yes, this is good and everyone should be taking it and there should be no critical thought about it, is like shot down as you are someone that, dislikes or whatever. And that's something that's kind of been annoying me. I don't know if you guys notice that at all.
I get that because people don't really like nuance, right? Especially if you're doing things on short form, like especially people want just like to the point. And when you try and bring that up, and that's why a lot of these like these topics I don't talk about too much because I have a lot of opinions on them and a lot of thoughts, and I can't just distill it down to like 30 seconds of like good, bad, and I don't like talk about it too much. So I get it. I feel it.
Yeah. There can't possibly be. I mean, it just kind of comes back to that we're talking about. People. Damn, I lost my train of thought. But people automatically assuming you're either for something or against something. There just can't possibly you can't possibly have two thoughts at once. Even though humans really are complex, we may believe two things at once. But if we talk about one thing, it doesn't automatically mean we hate the other.
That's an interest. I love and hate that so much because if you use a thing, even just using a thing, people are like, what's wrong with the other thing? And you're like, what are you talking about? I made a cucumber salad out of these fucking quart cups, and someone was like, "What's wrong with a bowl?" And I was like, and I literally just responded, "It gives you cancer and dementia, and also makes you bad at pickleball." That was my response, because I'm like, "What do you mean? What's wrong with it? Just use a fucking bowl." Like
that's called
That's wild.
post hoc ergo propter hoc.
That's a superhero. Also, or what?
Yes,
It's a logical
it's
fallacy.
also a superhero.
Is that it sounds like
It's a logical fallacy. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. If this, then that.
That happens a lot for sure.
That drives me nuts.
If you're for this, you must be against that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't wait for the post hoc ergo propter hoc skin in Marvel Rivals.
I think we'll get that after the boob skin. It's just boobs.
The reverse, right after the reverse censored.
The reverse. It's the character and their genitals.
There's some game developer listening to us right now, an indie game developer, and they're like, "This is going to be a brilliant game."
If they could do
Reverse
it,
censor.
could do it.
No. The name of it is 100% going to be Oops All Genitals for sure.
Oops.
Yeah, boom. Boom. Okay.
Oops, all genital. Listen, if they can
Okay,
make a
whoever's
game
making
where
that game, make sure you like tag us and send it to us and give us keys and all that.
if you can make a game where you're just a slice of bread, which is a game, I'm sure you could make an Oops All Genitals. Like all the games out there, I feel like you'd buy that just out of pure curiosity.
Heck yeah.
And you get to customize your genitals. Like, I'd like the balls to be a little bit lower.
Jesus Christ.
How much hair would you like on there? I mean, like, well trimmed, but definitely some. Bro, that game would sell. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if you could play it on Twitch. Twitch might have to.
Twitch does allow nudity as long as it is part of the game.
All right, well then you could play it on Twitch, guys. We got a fucking killer idea right
that's
here.
That's why Baldur's Gate was Game of the Year. You had so many genital options.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's so great.
All right, which one of you wants to go first in telling us where to find you?
I'll go. You can find me at Adam Wright Fitness on all platforms. And then also come check out my new podcast. We're 6 episodes in. It's called Showing Up Anyway. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Okay, well, you
And
can also
also,
get the Plant
everybody-
Slant and also on Facebook. Okay.
No one cares about you. Also, Adam,
usually don't.
everybody, 4 days after this podcast comes out, it is Adam's birthday. So make sure you go over to Adam's account and wish him a happy birthday.
Yay! I'll also be
birthday.
streaming on Twitch on my birthday. Thank you. I'll be streaming
that's
on
fun.
Twitch. My Twitch is it's ultimate_hero H3RO. That's my Twitch. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch,
Oh,
we have
I'll give
fun.
you a
Sometimes
follow.
Thanks, man. Sometimes sorry in advance for sometimes I show my booty.
Dude,
Not
my
bare,
Twitch is horrible.
just in shorts. Not bare. Don't worry.
Adam, at some point, you need to come play with me and John because we have a
Yes.
blast.
Yeah, I'd have
I'm
to.
very bad.
That's what makes it better.
Exactly. Oh, and
Nice.
Liam
All right.
can come too.
Oh. Yeah, you can find me, I don't know, I guess in everywhere it's just Obese to Beast. Yeah, pretty much any social media. I mainly use YouTube and I guess it's Instagram, not Reels, but that's all Instagram is anymore. But those are the two main ones. I'm also on Threads or whatever. But yeah, mainly YouTube, Instagram, Obese to Beast.
No one cares about me. So
Oh,
that
that's
was a
not
great
true.
podcast.
All right, and go check out our new game, Oops All Genitals, coming out as soon as we can fucking make it.
and get your energy drink. Oops, all
And
chemicals.
Naked and You're Afraid coming out in moderation this summer.
Listen, the ideas we come up with are fucking gold. If we can get somebody to invest in, we need to go to Shark Tank, guys. Sharks.
Heck yeah.
We're seeking $100,000 for our beautiful game.
And then you just pull your pants down.
Hey, wasn't that a great time? Listen to the podcast. I'm assuming you were just listening to In Moderation. So if you go ahead and hit the 5-star button, is that a thing? The like button?
That's a thing.
No.
Yep.
The like button
5
on
stars.
YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, not the dislike button. That's a bad button. The
Bad
like
button.
button.
Don't touch.
Hit all the other buttons. The share. You can go check out
all those things.
Subscribe. Go check out our Patreon. We do have a Patreon. It's free to join if you want, or you could give us some money. That'd be really cool, like $1 or $2. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have.
That's where you'll find all the news for this.
We're super appreciative. You can find all sorts of other stuff there. We do giveaways, I think, sometimes,
Sometimes.
all that good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So, peace.